section 3 ga o'tib ketaverishimiz mumkin.
Performance marks the 50 years that the lead actor has been on stage, and the play is the one where he made his first professional appearance all those years ago.
Tushunarli.
And the day after that, we'll be flying back home. Now, have you got any questions?
No questions. Section 3 ga o'tamiz.
To section 3. Some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
21 to 25 o'qishga javob ruxsat berishdi. Section 3 questions 21 to 30, 21 to 25 multiple choice questions. Scandinavian studies, Scandinavia o'qishlari. James chose to take Scandinavian studies because he was a child. He was often taken to Denmark. Mother spoke him Danish. Number of Danish people visited family. Demak, unda Danish people visit qilgan, mother spoke qilgan yoki Denmarkka olib borilgan o'zi. When he graduates, would like to nima qiladi? Postgraduate course qilmoqchi, work in the media qilmoqchi, become a translator qilmoqchi. Which course will end this term? Swedish cinema, Danish television programs, Scandinavian literature. Topamiz. They agree that agree keyword bo'lsin-da, chunki disagree qilishi mumkin boshqalar bilan. Will be on. Nima haqida bo'ladi? 19th century playwrights, Icelandic sagas, modern Scandinavian novels. Modern saga e playwright. Best recommends should be. Best recommendation berarkan historical overview of the genre, in-depth analysis of singer-writer, study of the social background of the literature, social background studies. Xo'p, tushunarli. 21dan 25gacha o'qib chiqdik. Endi savollarga javoblarni topishimiz kerak va javoblarni belgilashimiz kerak bo'ladi. Keling, ketdik birga.
Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Let's go.
Oh, good morning. You must be James. I'm Beth Cartwright. Please call me Beth.
Thank you.
Now, as this is your first tutorial since you started on the Scandinavian Studies course, I'd like to find out something about you. Why did you decide to take this course?
Well, my mother is Danish, and although we always lived in England, she used to talk about her home a lot. And that made me want to visit Denmark. We hardly ever did, though. My mother usually went on her own. But whenever her relations or friends were in England, they always came to see us.
I see. So I assume...
Xo'p, spoke about Denmark dedi. Danish tilda gapirmagan, Denmark haqida gapirgan. Onasi o'zi bemalol Denmarkka borib kelganda bolasini olib ketmagan, lekin uni o'rtoqlari kelganda uni visit qilgan. And my mother is Danish. We always lived in English. She used to talk about her home a lot. Danish gaplashmagan, uni uyi haqida gapirgan. That made me want to visit Denmark. We hardly ever did so. Demak, borishmagan. But whenever her relations friends came, they always came to visit us. Qisqasi, familyni visit qilishgan. Shuning uchun ham nasib bo'ldi.
You already speak Danish, one of the languages you'll be studying?
I can get by when I talk to people, though I'm not terribly accurate.
Now, you probably know that you'll spend the third year of the course abroad. Have you had any thoughts about that?
I'm really looking forward to it. And although Denmark seems the obvious place to go because of my family connections, I'd love to spend the time in Iceland.
Oh, I'm sure it can be arranged. Do you have any plans for when you graduate? A lot of students go on to take a master's degree.
I think the 4 years of the undergraduate course will be enough for me. I'm interested in journalism, and I quite like the idea of moving to Scandinavia and writing for magazines. I'd find that more creative than translating, which I suppose most graduates do.
Okay.
Xo'p, qisqasi nima qilasan? Graduate qilgandan keyin ko'pchilik odamlar master degreega boradi. Yo, menimcha 4 yil o'qiganim yetadi, chiqib ketdi. Mediada ishlatmoqchiman, jurnalizmga qiziqaman, qisqasi newspaperga ishlayman, u translatordan ko'ra yaxshiroq, kreativroq ish bo'ladi dedi, o'sha uchun ham B bo'ladi javob. Mana, I think 4 years of course will be enough for me. Chiqib ketdi. I'm interested in journalism. Moving to Scandinavia, writing for magazines. Bu mediaga ishlashga kirish degani, o'sha javob B bo'ldi. Translatordan ko'ra, I find that more creative than translating. Demak, translatingdan ko'ra yaxshiroq. Most graduates translating qiladi, o'sha uchun ham C ham chiqib ketdi. 23.
Now, how are you finding the courses you're taking this term, James?
Well, I'm really enjoying the one on Swedish cinema.
That'll continue next term. But the one on Scandinavian literature that's running at the moment will be replaced by more specialized courses. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in watching Danish television programs, there's going to be a course on that the term after next.
That sounds good.
Xo'p, nima dedi? Bu termda qaysi kurs tugaydi? Swedish cinema dedi, keyingi termda ham bo'ladi dedi. Scandinavian literature keyingi termda boshqasi bilan almashtiriladi, o'sha uchun ham bu tugaydi, C javob bo'ladi. Danish television program keyingisida bo'ladi dedi, o'sha uchun ham B chiqib ketdi. Xo'p, mana I'm enjoying Swedish cinema. That will continue next term. Demak, keyingi termda ham continue qiladi dedi. Literature running at the moment will be replaced by more specialized course. Qisqasi Swedish Scandinavian literature ni o'zgartirib tashlaydi. Danish television programni one term after next bo'ladi. Keyingi term keyingi termda bo'ladi dedi. Shuning uchun ham javob C.
Have you started thinking about the literature paper that you have to write in the next few weeks?
Yes, my first choice would be to do something on the Icelandic sagas.
The trouble with that is that a lot of people choose that topic, and it can be difficult to get hold of the books you'll need. Why not leave that for another time?
Right.
You might find modern novels or 19th century playwrights interesting.
I've read or seen several plays in translation, so that would be a good idea.
Fine. I'll put you down for that topic.
Right. So what would...
Qisqasi Icelandic sagani qilaman dedi. Hamma Icelandic sagani qilmoqchi bo'ladi, shuning uchun ham kitob topolmay qolasan dedi. 19-asr playwrightlarni tanladi yoki modern Scandinavian novellarni tanladi dedi. 19-asr playwrightlar hammasini ko'rganman, o'shani olsam kerak, mayli o'shani senga yozib qo'yaman dedi. Qisqasi. Mana literature paper, my first choice would be something Icelandic sagas, but the trouble that why not leave another time? Qisqasi o'qib olinglar, keyingi safarga qoldir dedi, mayli dedi. You might find modern novels or 19th century playwrights. I read on several plays in translation. That would be a good idea. Qisqasi playwrightlarni oldim dedi. A dedi.
Do you advise me to aim at in the paper?
First, I suggest you avoid taking one writer and going into a great deal of detail. That approach certainly has its place, but I think you first need to get an understanding of the literature in the context of the society in which it was produced, who it was written for, how it was published, and so on. I also think that's more fruitful than placing it within the history of the genre.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Qisqasi single writerga fokus qilmadida, social background o'rganib chiqdi. Bu historical overviewdan ko'ra yaxshiroq bo'ladi dedi. Avoid taking one writer and going into a great deal of detail. Bu chiqib ketdi B. You first need to get an understanding of the literature in the context of a society, in the context of a society which it was produced by social background. C keldi, javob bo'ldi. It was more fruitful than placing it within the history of genre. A ham chiqib ketdi shu uchun. Okay dedi. Qisqasi dedi. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Keyingisi matching. I'm gonna die. Davom etamiz. Okay, how James will write his paper on the Vikings. Writing haqida paperlarni qanaqa o'qirkan, he will read and choose his topic. Read nima? Read documentary o'qib bo'lmaydi. Textbook o'qish bo'lishi mumkin. Student paper o'qish mumkin. Menimcha. He'll borrow something from Bess. Documentary borrow qilish mumkin. Hamma narsani borrow qilish mumkin qisqasi. Structure borrow qilmaydi. Film borrow qilish mumkin, bullet point borrow qilish mumkin. Bilmadim. Film bilan documentary bo'lsa kerak. He'll plan of the paper. Structure bo'lishi aniq. He'll read some source material and write bullet points and notes bo'lishi mumkin katta ehtimol bilan. He'll write paper using qisqasi bu ham bullet point bo'lishi mumkin, notes bo'lishi mumkin. He'll write a complete paper. Qisqasi javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz o'zi. Boshladik.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
Let's go.
For some advice about...
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Could I ask for some advice about writing the paper I'm working on about the Vikings? I have to do that this week, and I'm a bit stuck.
Of course. Have you decided yet what to write about?
No, I haven't. There's so much that seems interesting. Viking settlement in other countries, trade, mythology.
Well, what I suggest is that you read an assignment a student wrote last year, which is kept in the library. It's short and well focused, and I'm sure you'll find it helpful. I'll give.
Qisqasi nima haqida yozishni bilmayman, topib topolmadim, hammasi interesting dedi. O'tgan yilgi assignmentdan, topshiriqdan yozilgan student paper o'qi, senga yordam beradi dedi. Library turibdi dedi. O'sha uchun ham A. Well, what I suggest is that you read an assignment a student wrote last year. Bo'ldi, tamam. E bo'ldi.
The details in a moment. Textbooks usually cover so many topics, it can be very difficult to choose just one.
Okay.
Xo'p, qisqasi textbook tanlama dedi. Chunki ko'p range of topics mana. Textbooks usually cover so many topics, it can be very difficult to choose just one. Bitta narsani topish, choose qilish qiyin bo'lib qoladi senga dedi. Shuning uchun textbook tanlama dedi. Student paper o'qib chiq dedi.
I've got a DVD of the film about the Vikings that came out earlier this year. Should I watch that again?
If it's the one I am thinking of, I'd ignore it. It's more fantasy than reality. But I've got a recording of a documentary that you should watch. It makes some interesting and provocative points, which I think will help you to focus your topic.
Right. So then, should I...
Xo'p, DVD'm bor dedi, film bor dedi, ko'raymi dedi, yana bir marta ko'rib chiqaymi dedi. Yo'q dedi, agar men o'ylayotganim bo'lsa, ignore qilaman dedi, chunki u fantaziya bo'lib ketgan, fantastik bo'lib ketgan dedi. I've got a recording of a documentary that you should watch dedi. O'shani ol dedi, men dokumentaryni ko'rib chiq dedi. O'sha uchun ham G bo'ldi.
Work out an outline?
Yes, just headings for different sections at this stage. And then you should start looking.
Workout outline qilaymi dedi. Ha dedi, headinglar dedi, sectionlar dedi, strukturasini qilib chiqaymi dedi. Mana then should I look at workout an outline? Yes, just headings for different section at this stage. Well, javob shu. Demak, structure D bo'ladi javob. Keyingisi.
For suitable articles and books to draw on, and take notes which you organize according to those headings.
Xo'p, source'lar o'qib chiqdi dedi, take notes qil dedi. C bo'ladi. Xo'p, then you should start looking for suitable articles. Mana materiallarni o'qi dedi, book to draw on dedi, keyin take notes qil dedi. Write notes bo'ladi, C bo'ladi javob.
I see.
Then put short phrases and sentences as bullet points under each heading. Make sure that this skeleton makes sense and flows properly before writing up the paper in full.
Okay.
Qisqasi bullet pointlar bilan sentencelar yoz dedi. Mana then should put short phrases and sentences as bullet points under each heading. Bullet pointlarni qo'yib chiqdi dedi. Bu to'liq yozishingdan oldin kerakli bo'ladi dedi. Hammasini javoblarni underline qildim, circle qildim, o'qib olinglar. Shu bilan section 3 o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Muammo bo'ladigan bo'lsa kommentlarda qoldirishingiz mumkin. Agar muammo realni bo'layotgan bo'lsa, iltimos shu mana javoblarni shunday so'zlarni yodlab oling. Masalan, outline degan so'zni bilmasliklaring mumkin. Assignment degan so'zlarni, bullet pointlarni shu so'zlarni yodlash kerak. Prosta so'zlarni yodlash kerak. Bo'ldi, keyingisiga o'tamiz. Section 4 ga o'tamiz menimcha hozir.
Hey.